Welcome to Classic Game Room. You know there's just something special about blowing things up with a helicopter. It's a winning formula that we've seen in Airwolf and Blue Thunder, as well as this game. It's Desert Strike, one of the greats on the Sega Genesis. General Kilbaba stuns the world. Really, this sounds like something that might have actually happened around the time of this game's release in 1992 for the Sega Genesis. It's Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf, a very popular release on your Mega Drive for good reason. It's tons of fun and extremely well made for the time. What you do is simple. You fly around the desert and blow everything up. Occasionally you can save people, but you can blow them up too if you want. This game is basically comprised of 4 missions. Each one gets longer and more complicated. The first one is pretty simple. You blow up all the radar dishes, then the power station, then the airplanes. Then you capture some bad guy who gives you the location of your secret operative, rescue him, fly away, blow a few more things up, and land on your aircraft carrier for a round of beers and a Top Gun screening on Laserdisc afterwards. It's a pretty straightforward game, actually. You can pull up a mini-map that shows your objectives and locations of important things at any time, but it's tricky because you can easily run out of fuel or get blown up. The first mission is pretty forgiving, but it's a good way to get started and learn the controls and just kind of figure out the game. I actually played the hell out of this game when I was a kid and haven't played it for a long time. It's just as much fun as I remember. Desert Strike plays a lot like an arcade game. You have lives and you're scoring points along the way. You score points for buildings blown up, objectives completed, enemies destroyed, and you lose points for doing things you're not supposed to do. Like showering civilians with rockets. It's not my fault they're standing there under my rockets. You need to keep an eye out for gas weapons and armor. Your helicopter is surprisingly fragile and can be shot down easily, then you lose a life. There are hidden one-ups scattered about. If you blow buildings up, they may hold a surprise, or some guy firing missiles at you. Which is also a surprise, just not a very good one. Repeat gameplay helps a lot because you want to know where the enemies are in advance. Also, the stuff hiding in the buildings doesn't change. So when you figure out where important things are, get them each time you play. And play this game you should. Desert Strike is a must-have game on the Genesis and spawned numerous sequels like Jungle Strike, another game I played a lot back in the day. Is there any kind of terrain or thing you can't strike? How about Nuclear Strike? Oh, yeah, they made that one too. It's on the PlayStation. I love the rockin' 90s EA music for the Genesis. Maybe that's what the little yellow thing on their game cartridges did. It just made amazing music. Somehow. Sometimes. This game is better than most. Let's move on to Mission 2, where there's less fuel laying about and more things to do, so the game does get a lot harder quickly. If you haven't played the game in a while, or if you're new to Desert Strike, there's 3 control options and numerous co-pilots that you can choose before each mission. You'll want to play around with those. They make a big difference, especially the controls, and I don't even think I realized back in the day that I could choose a co-pilot. I always assumed it was R2-D2, and he did a great job. This is the environmentally safe way to dispose of biological weapons. Just destroy the tanks and release it into the atmosphere. Nobody'll notice. Also, one of my favorite features in this game is that when your helicopter is shot down, which will happen, If you have some extra lives, you just reappear right in front of the enemies, so you can almost imagine the look of surprise on their face. Like, yay, we just shot, oh, damn, they're back. Curse those infidels! There's just no excuse not to have this game in your collection, and like Road Rash, I gotta wonder, why isn't EA up to like Desert Strike 421 by now? It's a really fun series of games, and you can strike anything with a helicopter. Puddle of Water Strike! I've long since lost my original copy of this game, so I've got to give my shout-out, thank you, all the way to my man Mohammed in Qatar for sending this to the show. It's always nice to open a box and see Desert Strike right next to The Lion King. Two great games with so much in common.